companion, just my rifle.
The same way, because I'm always wearing tennis shoes.
Right.
I like my starch jeans, but I don't really wear boots that much. I only wear boots when I ride a horse.
There you go.
And but I just like wearing tennis shoes. They're comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, a shoe and tennis shoes.
Yeah.
But it usually trips people out. I've been heckled.
Why, that you wear tennis shoes? Really?
Well, like with starch jeans and a cowboy hat, people can't but
like go to any ranch rodeo when
Exactly.
everybody gets out of the pickup, they all got tennis shoes on.
I mean, they're comfortable.
Yeah. I mean,
But
except me because they hurt my feet. Like I wear tennis shoes and I can't kill my feet. I don't know what.
Tennis shoes do?
Yeah.
Well, that's because, I mean, you were born in cowboy boots.
I mean,
weren't
like
you?
my boots, like literally, like if we're going to go walk somewhere, like if somebody be like, oh, I'm wearing my tennis shoes because we got to walk 5 miles. Be like, no, I'm wearing my boots because they feel better to me. Like my feet aren't sore the next day. It's just crazy to me. Like
See, that's odd. I'm the opposite.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
might have just not worn boots as much as you.
Yeah.
I've been heckled on stage for wearing
tennis shoes, really?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know if this is ironic, but down in like Houston area,
Yeah.
they're like very particular about how you dress.
Oh, I
if
mean,
you're
you should
like,
be cowboy.
yeah,
like-
I mean, it's got to be like you're strapped up. And I've been on. It was a place called Moe's
The
Place.
most uncowboy people want you to be cowboy. That's what's funny
Hey,
about
that
it.
is true.
Yeah.
And I was on stage, and I had a dude. He had his back to me. Like people were pressed to the front of the stage, and this one guy had his back to me, and he had his elbows up, on the stage. And like, you can watch him the whole time. And it's just like, which is funny too, because there's a bunch of people that are into it, and the one guy I'm focusing on is the one guy.
Right. That's
It's a lot.
He's pissed off because you got tennis shoes on.
It's like having that one person on Instagram that comments something negative, and that's all you can think about.
Yeah, exactly.
Even all the other people that were nice.
yeah.
So this one guy has back to me the whole time. In between songs, it's like dead silent. And he goes, "Where are your cowboy boots?" And he like turned around over his shoulder. "Where are your cowboy boots?" I go, "What?" He goes, "You're wearing tennis shoes. Where are your cowboy boots?" And I go, "I only wear them when I ride horses." And he goes, "Oh yeah? Well, what do you do for a living?" And I was like, "I shoe horses." And he goes, I'm like leaning off down the stage. I go, "I shoe horses." And he goes, "Oh." I go, "What do you do?" And he's like, I'm an accountant." It's like, why are you heckling me?
Where's your penny loafers, Peckerwood?
Exactly. Exactly. So,
Yeah.
well, hey, before we started, we were talking about Yellowstone
Yeah.
moving down to sorta. Like, do you think the whole show is going to move down this way?
I don't know. I bet it does eventually, I would think. I mean, why else would?
Because the producers are all, I think, from Weatherford.
Yeah, right there, around there for sure.
At least the executive producer is. Do you know him, Sheridan?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. Not very well. I mean,
Right.
he knows who I am and I know who he is. And we've had a few conversations. A cool cat, like really a cool cat.
Really?
Yeah, he's a really cool guy.
I
Down
have
to
like
earth.
one mutual friend. Now you're the next one.
Yeah, down to earth. Like him, and he could walk right in here and sit down and carry on a conversation. I mean, he's a cool dude.
When
He
I
really
saw
is.
that they bought the 4.6s, or when it popped up that somebody bought the 4.6s,
Right.
you're immediately like, oh gosh, like it's a developer or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, right.
But then I saw that it was them, and then the whole premise of the show is, I mean,
Cowboy.
yeah, and
Yeah.
people are moving in trying to take the land from
Heck yeah.
the way it's supposed to be. So it was, and then reading the article, it sounded like they really wanted to preserve the history.
I think so. I mean, I think they're going to not only preserve it, but, kind of hit a different market with it as well.
Mhm.
From the rumors, and, you hear all kinds of stuff floating around out there. The rumors are Taylor said he's going to raise the best cows, have the best horses, and have the best cowboys. So that's cool. That's good for our industry. No doubt about it whatsoever. As Yellowstone has been good for the industry, and a lot of guys think that Yellowstone is, that a bunch of fake shit, but there's some stuff that it's not necessarily related to what we do on a day-to-day basis as ranchers or cowboys or whatever, but also it brought the cowboy lifestyle kind of to the forefront of those people that don't even realize that we're around anymore, so it's kind of cool. It helps everybody. I mean, it helps the horse industry, the cattle industry, the ranchers. It brings it to the forefront of those people that don't see it all the time or don't even have a glimpse into it. So now at least they know that there's actual maybe cowboys out there or they studied around and figured out there's still cowboys out there doing what we do today. So it's pretty cool.
At some point, with shows like that, there's going to be some things that are a little bit corny.
Right.
But for the most part, they're talking about issues that are real.
Oh, no doubt.
The fundamental premise of the whole show is very real. There's a lot of people going through that exact thing. And then there's little nuances through it that are very accurate.
Right.
I mean, the type of music that they play on there,
Right.
the type of music they promote, that's a big part of, I don't know, it's just a big part of my way of life.
Yeah,
And
I mean, you know.
in Texas, I mean, it's just we listen to different stuff than a lot of other people. Even the stereotypical, what people would think is like country.
Right.
Like we don't really listen to a
No,
lot of
exactly.
it. There's like a whole separate thing. The type of horses that they use on there.
Right.
I mean, they got reining horses on there,
Right.
which I would have to think 99% of Americans don't know what a reining horse is.
No,
But they
you're
had,
exactly
from over there in Pilot Point in Aubrey, they got Tom McCutcheon.
right.
I think they had McQuay on there, which are, I mean, that's like the
Yeah.
creme de la creme of reiners.
No
and they
doubt.
have them on the show.
Yeah, that's cool.
There's a lot of like reels, and they made an effort to do some real things.
Oh, no doubt.
And those industries have exploded because
Yes.
of it,
Exactly.
for better and for worse.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, and there's always going to be those that down talk whatever it is and they talk bad about it, or that, you know, I mean, it's both sides of the.
Why do they actually talk bad about it? What is it?
You know, it's just, that's not real. We don't do that.
Gotcha.
You know, I'm like, come on, dude. It's a freaking TV show.
What's been like a
mean-
couple of the things that you've noticed where you're like, oh, come on.
Oh, well, like the very first, and I'll just straight up tell you, the very first time I watched it,
I wonder if it's the same ones that
I don't know.
noticed.
Probably, I bet it is. When they pull the calf by hand and he jumps up and runs off. Gone.
That's
I'm
the
like,
exact one. Oh my god!
come on now.
They just pulled it and it gets up and runs
Well, he
off.
pulls it with his hands. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you had never been if you're not in the cattle industry, you know, and you had never pulled a calf out of a cow, you damn sure ain't gonna do it with your hands because it is so slick, so
not gonna be able
greasy,
to.
so wet. I mean, you can't. It's the slimiest, slickest thing you've ever put your hands on, you know.
Then it
And
just
so,
gets up and runs off.
yeah, the calf jumps up and runs off, you know, and I'm like, well, there you go. That is fake as all fake can get. But yeah, they needed a little bit of what is it? A producer that like I don't even know what you call those people that say yes, you can do that, or no, don't do that.
Yeah,
or, you
I
know,
don't-
like a
Because
like a
in film,
production.
I get confused if like producers sometimes are just the money people.
yeah. So I don't know, like, you know, they need somebody to go, yes, do that, or no, don't do that. That's not even fathomable, you know. Like when what's your other one?
This one's like hyper specific, only because I'm a horseshoer.
Oh,
And so they're he's like loping out. I think it's Kevin Costner, and he's like loping out through a pasture. He's gonna go check on some cows or something. And super nice horse he's riding, but on the back of it, he's got, I mean, they have freaking toe weight, 1.5 inch sliders on those hind feet.
Yeah.
And he's loping out there to check cows.
Yeah.
And I was like, And you can tell when he says,
yeah.
whoa. I mean, that sucker's sliding halfway across.
He's lucky he didn't flip over.
No kidding. Out there
So-
in like grass like that?
no
I mean,
doubt.
that's
no
slick.
doubt. No doubt.
And so when he was loping out there, I was like,
Yeah. My other one was when they roped the bull and turned the rope loose. Did you see that?
no.
When they sent the dogs in, they had some dogs and they were going to get these bulls out
Is
of
that
the
when old
trees.
Bingham was in there?
You know, I think so. Yeah.
I think
And,
yeah.
But this Angus bull comes running out, you know, and they're bellowing in the woods in there, and it's like everybody, watch him, boys, watch him. He's a bad one, you know. And he comes running out, and Casey, the son, is supposed to, I don't know, I mean, like what, but it's supposed to be Casey, and he runs and ropes him and gets him stopped, and then just turns the rope loose, and the bull runs off dragging the rope. And I'm like,
Huh.
why would you rope the bull and
then
turn
turn
it
him
loose? Like, it didn't make no
I don't
sense.
actually remember that one. Was
Yeah.
there a reason he turned it loose?
No, I mean, it was just like,
I was just,
he was just wanting an adrenaline.
I think Martin,
You know,
when-
and I think they talk like, what'd you see that? Like, oh, it's dangerous. He roped that bull, you know, he just needed an adrenaline rush because he hadn't done nothing in a while or
Oh,
something like
yeah,
that.
just-
So, yeah, that was another one of mine. I was like, what the hell?
but in the grand scheme of things, when you look at a lot of old westerns and stuff,
Right.
there was some super corny stuff.
yeah,
in
no
those.
doubt. No doubt. I mean,
So when
like
you,
John Wayne putting the reins in his teeth and feel your hands, you sons of bitches.
hey, Or like earing one down,
Yeah.
biting its ear.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I like the theory behind that. But come on, that sucker throws its head. I mean, you're busting
Rip
out
all
all
your
your
teeth.
teeth, or jerks it away. I mean, you're going to get an ear, but you're going to lose your teeth.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
So I guess juxtaposed to all those, it's
yeah,
it's pretty spot on.
pretty spot on. Yeah,
So you need to be on there.
I'm trying. I'm just.
Are you really?
Yeah, heck yeah, I'm trying.
You don't try to do anything.
Well, there you go.
just do
Watch
it,
out.
right?
Uh-huh. Stay tuned.
I think, right?
Stay tuned.
I've only met you twice.
Stay tuned.
Really?
I'm working on it. Yeah. Yeah.
How
yeah.
cool would that be?
Oh, it would be. It'd be real cool.
What
Now
do
they
you
might
think-
have me like taking the trash out of the bunkhouse or something. You know, I mean, like not never be on screen, but
Yeah.
something like that would be cool.
Why do you think you wouldn't be on screen?
Who knows? You never know about that kind of stuff.
Are you just being coy? Are you really going to be on there?
I don't know.
That'd be cool.
It would be cool, wouldn't it?
I think you got to do it, but you got to have a pretty good role. I think you could be an actor.
You think so?
That's what's kind of interesting about you is, well, because obviously the whole internet with social media, you're relatively an average guy.
No, I am
Just
an average,
cowboy.
very average guy.
I mean, and then all of a sudden, I mean, you got all these followers and you got people hitting you up all the time, and then you could be on a TV show.
Yeah, it is.
Is that odd?
It is very odd for me. I mean, no doubt about it. It's something that I kind of struggle with here and there, but because it is so odd to me, and but I've also learned to kind of how to deal with it and take it very humbly and appreciate, everything. It's just like this morning I got a message from a follower on IG, and she messaged me and she said her nephew, and I don't follow her, she don't follow me, but her nephew follows me, and they were moving cows this morning or something. And she said that he rode up to her and he said, hey, Aunt, I don't even know what her name is, but Aunt so-and-so, would you take some pictures of me? I'd like to have some pictures I can put on my IG. And she was like, oh yeah, why's that? And he was like, he showed her my page and said, because this guy here's one of my heroes and I want to see. And I'm like, whoa, and so she sent me a message this morning actually, and said, I just want to let you know that there's little cowboys and cowgirls out there that are looking up to you, and just going to let you know this is what my nephew said this morning, and I'm like, wow, that's very humbling, very surreal. It's like, I appreciate that, and it does mean a lot. It's like pretty cool. It's real cool.
Yeah. What would be like the biggest struggle with that type of stuff, just in your headspace?
Yeah. I mean, to me, I'm just Buster. I don't, nobody looks up to me, I mean, I got friends and I got people that I hang around, but in my mind, I'm like, I don't feel like anybody should look up to me, I mean, I'm just, like you said, I'm just an average dude, a cowboy.
Well, sort of. I mean, you're a unique individual. Don't take that as like you're a cool cat. There's like, I get it why people are interested in who you are.
Yeah,
but it's got to be a little bit weird.
It is weird, I mean, I came from very, 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 very humble beginnings. We kind of talked about it. We had lunch a little bit ago, and I kind of talked about
Sweetie Pie's ribeyes.
Sweetie Pie's ribeyes.
What'd you have? You had a chicken.
I had the chicken fried ribeye, and it was really good.
My ribeye was.
If you ever in Decatur, stop by Sweetie Pie's ribeyes and order the chicken fried ribeye, because it is badass.
They call it the Buster.
Yeah, no,
they do now.
They do now.
They do
All
now.
right, cool.
I just talked with them when we were walking out.
Yeah, perfect.
See, now you have chicken fried ribeyes named after you.
Yeah, just by you.
Yeah,
I mean, we only walk like 30 foot, so nobody knows it.
It really was. It was like 30 feet over
it's like
there.
30
It's
feet
perfect,
over to
isn't
where
it?
we are. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Anyways, sorry. I didn't
No,
mean to interrupt you.
it is. It's, I don't even know where we're at. But even like sitting here talking to you, I mean, really, it's hard for me to even think about why anybody would want to listen to what I have to say. I mean, I don't know. It's just something.
Is it a weird transition? Okay, so being humble and trying to keep a humble mindset, is it a weird transition into staying like humble, not getting too big for your britches, but also recognizing that there's people that care about what you have to say and like what you mean as a person, like they look up to you?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a difficult thing to navigate, staying humble,
Right.
but then also recognizing that people look up to you.
Well, yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think it's a hard transition there to understand. And I think I don't know. I want to say that I think I handled that pretty well because I am pretty down to earth. I am down to earth. I'm Buster and I'll always be Buster. And that's what I tell people, I'm like, so send me a message or something on IG and like, are you the one that does your Instagram? I'm like, yeah, that's me. And they're like, no, come on. Am I really talking to Buster? And I'm like, yeah, you're talking to Buster. I'm Buster. I get up in the morning and do my deal, whether I'm punching cows or whether I'm building fence or whether I'm working on my feed truck or, I just do what I do. And the internet has been an outlet again, kind of like what Yellowstone, it kind of brought the cowboy, and I feel good about bringing that to some people that don't understand it or don't know we're even there. And that's kind of how I even got into it 6 years ago now, I guess. I didn't even have Instagram, I didn't even know what Instagram was.
Interesting.
And a guy came to work for me who I'm business partners with now, and he had Instagram and he was taking pictures of me and the ranch and where I worked and what we were doing. And he was an ex-military spec ops guy. And then I started Bison Union with him. And anyways, he was thrilled about to get to be on the ranch and doing what, he said everybody when they grow up, if they're little boys, they either want to be a cowboy or be in the military. Firefighter. Maybe. First responder, some sort of that. Yeah, so, that's kind of every little boy's childhood dream is to be a cowboy, a military guy, or a firefighter, or policeman, something like that. And so he'd been in the military 16 years, spec ops, and said he wanted to work on a ranch. And he contacted a guy that I happened to know me, and the guy called me and said, hey, I got a buddy that wants to work on a ranch. Would you be interested in talking to him? Sure. So he came to work for me. And like I said, at that time, I didn't even have IG. I barely looked at Facebook. I had Facebook for to keep up with my family, and friends and whatnot, but I wasn't big into it at all. And
so this guy told you about Instagram?
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. I didn't even know it was I didn't even know it. He's like, are you?
That was only 5 or 6 years ago.
6 years ago. Yeah. Maybe 6.5 years ago. And so he bugged me forever about, you need to get Instagram, because he would post a picture of me doing something at the ranch or us doing something at the ranch or horses or cows or something. And he would get a huge influx of people following him because of it. And he was like, they want to know about it. They want to know about you. They want to know about what you're doing, why we're doing this, And he's like, you need to get IG. You need to get Instagram. I'm like, man, I don't need that shit. I don't need that. I don't need that. And so one day we're actually headed to build fence. And he's like, you got Instagram yet? I'm like, no, I don't have Instagram. I'm driving the truck, clacking along, got T-posts and wire and all that shit that you need to go build fence. And I just handed him my phone. I just reached over and handed him my phone and said, here, put it on there. And he set my Instagram account up as we're driving to build fence. And I think, he was, and I watched him and I had him help me because he's a very savvy guy. And he was like, do this, do that, take some good pictures. And he was kind of giving me hints and I got to watch. And I'm very much that way with anything I do, I watch and I listen and I try to pay attention. Even if I don't know anything about what we're doing, I can pick up quite a bit of information, just by watching and seeing and watching how you do what you do. And how he does what he does, And so I found me some people that I went to following and I got to kind of watching how they posted and why they posted and when they posted and what they were posting about, the picture quality and whatnot. And here in a minute, I look up and I think I've got 33 or 34,000 followers now. It's like
crazy.
It is crazy, and it's like, wow. And that's the only reason, I figure I'm here on this show. It's like, it just kind of multiplies. You go to here and somebody sees you here and say, it's just a network. It's just a great way to network. It's a great way to.
First time. So if this doesn't explain how cool you are, because I didn't discover you because of Instagram or some cool photograph. First time I met you, you were picking up at Tuft at his New Year's.
Yeah.
And I met you down there and you came, they had that stage right there in the arena, right there in the Coliseum in Fort Worth. And they had it right there. I guess it was in the arena. Right. And you came by on your horse and I was doing sound check. You said, hey man, I'm Buster Frierson.
Yeah.
I was like, good to meet you.
What's funny is how I knew who you were was a good friend of mine shot horses with the guy that taught you how to shoot horses.
Danny Anderson.
There you go.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's the only reason I knew who you were.
Hold on.
A picture CD single, the one that you're lighting that cigarette off that hot iron or that hot shoe.
Yeah.
Picked it up at Abilene at the Western Heritage. I was standing there talking to Danny. Me and him were bullshitting, and I looked over, and he had that CD, that single sitting on there, and I said, "Who's that?" He said, "Oh, it's a kid that learned how to shoot. I taught how to shoot." He said, "He picks a pretty good guitar and sings pretty good." I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, yeah, I'll take one. And so I took one, and on the way home from Western Heritage, I put it in and listened. I'm like, dang, that guy's good. And so that's how I knew you.
You never told me that.
Yeah, that's how I knew you. So when I rode by, I thought that was funny that you were there at Tufts roping. And so I was like, damn, that's that kid that Danny told me about. And so I sat and listened to you that night, and I went by, and I'm like, hey, Jarrod, what's up? I'm Buster. And so that's
damn, man, you just blew my mind.
Yeah,
because I actually, Danny lives like over there near Collinsville, north of Denton, and he had texted me and said he was going to that Western Heritage deal, and I needed to come drop off some CDs and stuff. So I went that week before. I went to his house and dropped off all my stuff.
Isn't that cool?
I didn't realize that's how that.
It's so how I met Danny. Jackie Barnett.
Not personally.
So Jackie was a good friend of mine, and so I knew Jackie, and he'd always talked about this Danny guy.
Good horse shoer.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's what Jackie always said about him. And Jackie cowboyed with me and shot horses, and always, we've been friends a long time. And so when I was at Abilene, I walked by, and there's Danny, and I'm like, hey.
Selling his knives.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, man, a buddy of mine. He's like, Jackie Barnett? I'm like, oh, yeah, man. He's like, oh, hell. So we got to stand there just BSing, and then, like I said, I looked over to senior CD, and I'm like, I'll be damned.
That is so cool.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, so like Danny's son is my brother-in-law.
Okay. All right.
They live here in Decatur, but
Gotcha.
He married my sister.
Gotcha.
And so at the end of high school, like I grew up in Decatur, so a lot of guys I knew and was friends with, they all rodeoed. And,
right.
And like everybody had cattle and stuff like that, but I wasn't raised with it. Wasn't raised around it, didn't know anything about it. Like couldn't halter a horse. Yeah. And so at the end of high school, I started working for my brother-in-law. And like the first time I went to work with him was like the first time I haltered a horse.
That's cool.
So I was probably, I don't know, junior, senior high school or something like that. Yeah. And then just shod with him for a long time. He taught me mostly everything. And then other than that, it was all just self-taught. Just YouTube. Right. How the heck do I do this? How do I do that? What not to do? Yeah. But shoeing, you get in some pretty squirrely situations.
Oh, no doubt.
And so you pretty quickly start to get a pretty good handle on horses.
Yeah, I bet that's right.
Even you're forced to.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, for sure.
You either got
but
to. But
that's how I learned. So it was, and then Danny got hurt real bad at one point, and he jacked up his shoulder or something like that. And so we ended up going and helping him a bunch. And so then I got to learn from Danny as well. And then there's a couple other guys over in that area, but they're real deal horseshoers.
No doubt.
Real deal.
It's so it's funny, even that world, and so I'm friends with Lee Olson at Olson Equine right there at Weatherford or Brock, where I live right down the road from him. And Lee and I are good friends, and he's a farrier and does a lot of the same blacksmithing kind of type farrier, old school, where you got to build your own shoes and do all that stuff.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I ain't building a lot of shoes. I'm buying pre-stamped.
Yeah, but you can.
If I was forced to, maybe sort of, kind of.
Yeah. But so anyway, where I was going with that was Lee asked me if I would bring the horses up there to the World Championship Farrier contest that they had this last winter during the finals at Billy Bob's.
Well, then do you know Chad Chance?
Yes.
Okay. So Chad's another guy that I
took all the horses up there for that deal. And of course, Danny was there and Chad was there. And then there's some other guys there,
Hey, how freaking cool is Chad?
Yeah. Cool cat.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. So, it's like you say, then we get back to that networking deal where you see this guy and you meet this guy and they meet this guy. And, you just start piggybacking off of everybody. And it's like, before you know it, you got this crew of people that are around you, that's awesome. And you're like, dang, this is pretty cool, this is real cool. And now you're a singer, and it's like, man, I get to hang out with some cool people.
It's wild, isn't it?
It is. It's so crazy, and it's surreal to me. It's like, what? Me and Dale Brisby are friends, and and so through Dale, I've met Red Shahan, and Red Shahan and I are friends now. Matter of fact, that was the cow that me and Dale caught at the Dairy Queen parking lot.
Was Red's?
Yeah, but don't tell nobody.
Well, no, we won't. We'll keep this totally private. We won't tell anybody. Was it really his?
Yeah, it was Red's. So he told Dale when we pulled up over there, he's like, do not video this. Do not video it. And of course, Dale, as soon as we got 10 foot away from Red, he went to video. And, I'm like, Red's going to kill you. So me and Red are good friends now, I mean, it's cool. It's cool to get to meet and see and greet and be friends with people, that I never would have the opportunity to without
the internet, man.
Bert setting up my Instagram account.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the truth. And that's just the way it is. And there's good and bad and everything.
Totally.
And as long as you tend to it right, I think, it's a good tool to have in your pocket. A lot of guys, they in the cowboy world, of course, you know how it is. They're always behind times. No matter what situation it is, whether it's Instagram or whether it's the way you market your cattle or the way you gather a deal, or seems like the cowboy industry is always a little bit behind because we're pretty hard headed. We don't want to step into the new technology. We don't want to use that stuff because we are hard headed, and we want to do it the way we've always done it.
Sure.
And so it's like I get ribbed quite a bit from that side of it too. From guys that are cowboys, which I mean, there's way better cowboys out there than me. No doubt about it.
Have you had those moments where? Okay, so let me preface this. Okay. Obviously, there's some people on Instagram, Facebook, and all that are doing the whole Western.
Yeah,
I'm a cowboy.
Is all fake.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Has it happened where you show up somewhere and guys kind of want to rib you and see what you're all about?
Oh yeah,
see
no
if you're
doubt.
for real, and then they're like, "Oh, damn, this guy."
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they test you, no doubt about it.
Is it kind of funny to see them once they know what you're doing?
Yeah, it is. It's a good deal, and yeah. It's for sure. There's some tests been thrown out there. Some guys are like, "Oh, this guy really can he really do what he can? What he portrays himself as? And
I'm always skeptical of it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you have to be nowadays.
It happens in the country music world. Well, I mean, everybody wears a cowboy hat.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, in every industry, there's those fakes that wannabes. I mean, and that's what we call them. Just like wannabe singers, wannabe cowboys, wannabe whatever they are. It's like,
look, and here's like the fundamental premise: is a guy like you don't care. No. Like if somebody don't know a thing, if they don't know the front end from the ass end of a cow,
no,
you don't care.
I don't care.
As long as somebody's straight up.
As long as you're straight up and you're respectful about it, and you step in there and stomping around, acting like and talking to big game, and then I tell you, hey, once you run over there and catch that cow right quick and you can't uncoil your rope,
it gets weird.
Then it's kind of like,
But if the same person were to be like, hey man, I don't know what I'm doing.
Exactly.
I'll help you
out.
My gosh. You'd probably do it all day long.
Yeah, let me help you.
Yeah.
Here's what we got to go about. Let's do it this way. Everything's earned. I earned everything that I've ever had. I've worked my ass off my whole life. And it's just one of them deals where it's like I tell my son who's 15, I'm like, you can do whatever you want in this world as long as you earn it, and you understand that you're not going to have anything given to you. This whole world's big, mean, rough, and tough. I mean, it sucks. I mean, if you want something, you can do it, but you damn sure better be willing to pay the price. And that price is, whatever you want to give to it. Blood, skin, tears, broken bones, I mean, I've had all that stuff. I've punched cows for a little while now. And like I say, there's guys out there that are way, 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 way better cowboys than I am, way better horse trainers, whatever you want to say, I mean, there's guys out there that do it way better than I do. I just happen to have a platform to kind of show it, and nowadays. And so it's one of those deals where it's kind of like you sit back and you look at it and you're like, I feel like I'm one of those guys, or I feel like I can go do whatever I want to do, whenever I want to do it. I mean, if I find and surround myself with the right people, then, your success is not guaranteed by any means, but it's damn sure going to help you. It's like I tell everybody, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most.
Let me think about that. Yeah. Okay.
And you are, I mean, you hang out with 5 crackheads, you're going to be an average crackhead. You hang out with the top 5 calf ropers in the world, and that's what you want to be. You're going to be average calf roper. Of those top 5 guys. You're the average of the top 5
but
people.
See, here's the thing though, is like, what about hanging out with people that you're trying to pull up?
Yeah, no doubt.
Because like most self-help books or any sort of thing like that will typically tell you to hang out with people that are, better or bigger or striving for more than you are.
Right.
But at some point, it's not if there's somebody that needs you to pull them up.
I think in that essence of it, I think you have to be willing to hang out with those people as well. But those people have to come seek you out, in my opinion.
Okay.
I'm not going to go find somebody and just hunt them out and go, hey, you need to come hang out with me. But if those people reach out to me and say, hey, this is what I want to do, and I think you're somebody I would like to try to learn from or emulate or do something like that, you have to be willing on like my side of it to say, either take the chance, yes, I'll help you, or no, you're not worth my time. I'm not jacking with you. And so I think that too.
You're not worth my time. That's a tough one.
Yeah. I mean, but there's those people that are there.
Because you seem like a lover.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, I don't think you like to be mean to people. Some people get off to it.
I would try to help anybody, but there's a time you got to cut your losses at one time. I mean, there's very few people I've ever had to cut my losses with just because they don't want to put forth the effort. They don't want to put forth the time. They don't want to do the right thing to be where they say they want to be. It's kind of like those fakes that we were talking about, I mean, they talk a good game, but yeah, when it comes down to putting the work in, they don't want to do the work. And you can do everything and do everything and do everything and try to help them along, and they still don't want to do the work. Well, it's like, well, all right, I'm going to spend my time and my energy on somebody that really wants it. And, I've had some kids come to work for me at the ranch or come and help me, and there's been 2 or 3 of them that they'd stay 3 or 4 weeks. They couldn't make it. They wouldn't hack it. They always had excuses. They always were late for work. They always, something was wrong. They couldn't do this. They couldn't do that because there was something going on. And then I had those other guys that show up that'll grind 15 hours a day. And I'm talking about like, it don't matter what situation you put them in, where you put them, how much you put them there. They're like, they're there an hour early. They're there an hour late. I mean, they crave it. They want it. And those people, there's 2 or 3 of those guys that work for me, and whether I did it or whether somebody else did it, I mean, they've had a little bit of piece of me in them, and those guys are very successful now, and they're helping people now. I mean, it's a cool to see that for sure.
Yeah, dude.
Really cool.
The grind, finding people that just want to put in the day-to-day work.
Yeah.
And that's something I didn't realize in my early 20s is you start getting real big, lofty ideas and living in the clouds and all these things you want to accomplish. But at least for me, it was, what am I, I could sit there and think about 10 years from now where I would be, which is, to a certain degree, it's good to have goals like that. Right. But then I'd sit there for a day or two and I hadn't accomplished anything.
Right.
It's like, no, what are you doing right now?
Yeah.
And when you can focus on those tiny little goals and then at some point you start having a little bit more success, and then those successes they don't really fulfill you. And then you start to realize that those little, segments of just grinding,
you bet,
and the process is what you start to become addicted to.
Yeah,
and the outcome is just happens because you did the work here.
Right.
But the thing you enjoyed was just the work.
Yeah. It's just basic. You got to go back to the basics every time, and your basics improve. So like you finally figure out how to do this, and it's very basic. And then the next time you do it, your basics at the top of where you left off the last time. And so I kind of go like with my horses. I watch it with my horses. Like the very first horse I trained by myself from start as a 2-year-old, I still have him. He's 21 years old. He's 22 years old now.
Whoa.
I still have him.
Yeah.
He was a very good horse. Like, he's a good horse. Wasn't the best horse I ever rode. Wasn't the best horse I ever trained, but he was a very good horse. I still have him. He won me a lot of money, different events, rodeo, team roping, ranch rodeo. I mean,
he does everything.
Yeah, like do everything. He go punch cows on him. I mean, like good horse.
What's his name?
Bean.
Oh, Bean.
Yeah.
He's 21.
He's 22 now.
22.
Yeah, he's 22. So, and it's still around. Like, I'll ride him every once in a while. He's in great shape, I mean, I'll ride him here and there. Not much. He's kind of got the retired life.
Sure.
But, I look at him and what he could do, and then I look at a 4-year or 5-year-old that I'm riding right now. They can do 3 times as much as he could, and as much as he can now.
Yeah.
Individual talent wise, like spins and stops and turnbacks and working a cow and running and, rating a cow and doing that kind of stuff. Those horses are younger. They're better than what he is because I've honed my skills over the years.
So it had less to do with him and more to do with you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not his, it was me. He could have been the same caliber of horse as that 4-year-old that I'm riding right now, but I didn't know. I didn't understand how to get him to that point. I had to go through 15 or 20 horses to finally figure out. So when I say go back to the basics, your basics are always changing. Your basics are always getting better. And so if you don't allow yourself to go above and beyond that, and you just do the same, if I did the same thing that I did to Bean to my 4-year-old now, he would be the same horse as Bean was. And so that's kind of how I associate. You go back to the basics, but your basics always are changing. You're a hell of a lot better guitar picker than you were 6 months ago.
I don't know. I was pretty badass. I don't have anything to work on.
Well, I mean, if you just quit, if you just like, well, I can play this and I can do that, and I'm not going to improve. And then you see, or as opposed to, and I don't know anything about the music or industry you're playing because I have no musical talent whatsoever.
It's the same thing that you're talking about. You got to have the self-awareness.
You got to go, man, I want to, oh, damn, did you hear that? I want to play. I want to be able to play that. And so you strive to be better every chance. And then it's like you look back and it's like, man, I couldn't play that 6 months ago and I can rip it now. So I'm bored with that. I need to do something better. Let's do something bigger. Let's do something more.
How much has teaching somebody else, maybe specifically something like with horses, teaching somebody else horsemanship skills, how much teaching somebody to do anything, how much does that help you with how good you are at something? Because I think when you teach somebody something, it immediately brings you back to basics.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Like I got a kid that I just started, he started working with me one day a week shoeing horses.
Yeah.
And some of the things that are just second nature.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, what are you doing there? And I'll be like, oh yeah, you gotta put a little groove underneath these nails and you're going to clench. This is called a clencher. You're going to, and like stuff that just, I was like, oh wow, I didn't remember that I needed to teach that to somebody. And then it makes me, the next time I go shoe, I'm thinking about the way that I taught him to clench a nail. Exactly. And it's like, yeah, dude, you've kind of been,
you're slacking on it. Yeah, it's just something that you it's like putting your boots on. I mean, you don't ever notice it until your feet hurt. You put your boot on, you put them on a certain way, and then you stub your toe, and then the next time you go to put your boot on, you're like, whoa. Right. I got to put it on a little different way. Like, I don't do that. Like, that wasn't right. Same deal about training horses and training people, or helping people learn how to do different things. Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, like me just showing somebody how to hang my girts up on my saddle, whenever you saddle a horse or you unsaddle a horse, how you hang them up and how you put your latigos and, the way your bridle hangs, and I mean, I just do it second nature. And then you look up and I got 3 or 4 bridles that I've just thrown over there on the bridle rack, and I'm like, man, what is? I was in a hurry, and so I didn't do it like I needed to, And so it does. It helps you, bring you back to the basic. It helps bring you back to that spot where you're like, oh yeah, remember I had to start here too.
Do you feel like training horses? You've learned more about how to train them, or you've learned more about yourself?
Oh, way more about myself, for sure.
You started to smile when I was asking that.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those deals. I always said, I read it somewhere, and I don't remember where I read it or who said it, but somebody way smarter than me said it. But more great horses have made good trainers than good trainers have ever made great horses. And I believe that, no doubt about it. I mean, I've been blessed to have a few good horses. And like I say, my horses are ranch horses. They're cowboy horses. I ranch rodeo, and I show in the ranch horse competitions here and there, and, do a little roping here and there. But it's nothing like the reiners or the cow horses or the cutters or anything like that. I mean, I'm just cowboy, but I do take pride in my horses, and I've had the availability of having a couple of good horses, and, that people know about and remember, like, hey, what's that old sawhorse you used to ride? It makes you feel good when somebody says that, like, what'd you do with him? And they're like, hey, where's that black horse you used to ride? You still got your black horse, and somebody will say, here and there, like, where's that sawhorse? Where's that buckskin horse? And like everybody, and so it makes you feel good that people notice your horsemanship and your skills, and so it's like you want to improve on that. Every horse that I get, I know what horses suit me better. I can ride one for a couple of days and go, I don't know if he's going to work. I don't know if he and I are going to jive, or I don't know if this horse is going to fit my style, or he's, my style is going to fit him, whatever. And so I've learned how to cut those out, or at least where I don't waste as many, and I can send them somewhere else or do something else with them. Call a buddy of mine and say, hey, I got a horse. He ain't gonna fit me, but I think he'll fit you. He's for sale. I'm gonna sell him. And so it's a deal where those horses make way better trainers. If I can just stay out of their way, give them the basics, and then stay out of their way and let them learn on their own, they turn out to be way better horses if I just stay out of their way and I can give them the basic, hey, we need to go here and there and do this and do that, but then just put them in those situations and get back and stay out of the way. I think I've learned that about myself more than anything. If I try to force myself and way I want to do it on one, I'm probably too strong there. And so it's like, I've learned that over my years, like, if I just kind of back off him and let him figure it out and stay out of his way, he's a good enough horse that he'll either figure it out. And I've figured it out whether they can do that or whether they can't,
So in terms of training horses, did you start with just breaking colts and then?
Yeah, just, starting 2-year-olds and just riding colts for horses for the public and just doing that kind of thing. My dad did that when I was growing up. He'd start a bunch of colts for the outside for the public.
Was that most all the time, or would you just do it like every spring?
No, all the time. We had colts around there all the time. I'll never forget. They're the most vivid, probably one of the most vivid memories that I have of my childhood was I was riding a bike. I was probably 7 or 8 years old. My dad, he's a big, tall, lanky, black-headed, always had a big black mustache, and real soft-spoken, didn't say a whole lot. And I'll never forget, I come around the corner riding my bike, and like I say, I was probably 7 or 8, and we had a little old 20-acre field by the barn. And man, my dad was putting a bronc ride on this big gray gelding that some guy had sent him. And I'm talking about dust boiling, looked like a pitcher, And my dad sat right in the middle of him, and this sunbuck is kissing his ass, doing the deal. My dad sat right in the middle, never got out.
So it's a sun-fishing son of a gun.
Yeah, exactly. No doubt. And I was on my bicycle. I stopped, and it was just like my dad's like this god, like, oh my God, look at this guy. And so those memories like that, so that's what I was like, boy, if I could ever do that, that would be the coolest thing I'd ever do. If I could ride a bronc like my dad did, when in that picture, in that my mind, my memory. And so I started breaking a few colts here and there, and never could ride one like what he did, but still can't ride one like he could. But it was something that kind of kicked me into doing that, and I wanted to do that.
Even in terms of breaking colts, like in this same thing that you're talking about, where you have to be able to realize you can't force them. So you can force them to do what you want them to do, but is that ultimately going to achieve the goal?
Right. No. You're going to eventually get there to where you want to get there, but it's going to be a longer process, and there's going to be a lot more bumps in the road
to get to that end. It's the difference between a stick and a carrot.
Yeah, and and so those horses, today's horses are bred so well and so good and so athletic and so smart. The majority of them. There's still some.
We have a lot of barrel horses.
Yeah, there's still some out there, but those horses are bred. Even the barrel horses. They're bred to do what they do. You know?
Absolutely.
It ain't like you're taking a horse from the cutting pen that's supposed to cut a cow, and all of a sudden that doesn't want to do that, they can run.
No, they're very hyper specific.
Yeah, they're very hyper specific nowadays. We've bred those horses to whatever event specific.
But fundamentally, it always just comes back to the same thing where, and it's what most people go through their entire life never asking themselves this question is like, what can I do different?
Right.
To like change the outcome. It's usually always something else.
Yep.
It's because they did this. It's because they did that. It's never, what can I do different? And if you're training horses, like, that is the number one question. Because at some point, you can't talk to them. You can only whip them so much.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
At some point, you just got to sit there and go,
what do I need to do different to get the outcome that I'm asking for? And that's when you got to be smart enough to either go ask somebody, go seek the knowledge out from somebody that's already been there and done that. And hopefully they'll give it to you, or send it to somebody that will do what you need to do, And so you got to be willing to do those kind of things, to figure it out. Eventually, you either there ain't no telling how many horses I ruined, just like straight up ruined because I tried to mash them into doing something that they like, dude, this is way too early. Like, I don't need to be doing this yet. And I have figured that out too, it's like nowadays everything's We want it now. We want it now. We want it now. Even in the horse industry, you know, I mean, we want to train a horse. By the time he's a 3-year-old, at the end of his 3-year-old year, you put your hand down on him and you expect him to hold a cow.
Right.
You expect him to run down there and slide 40 foot. You
Yeah.
expect him to back in the corner of a box and run out there and perform like a 10-year-old.
At 3.
At
Yeah.
3.
Yep.
It's like we've put that much pressure on those horses. You know, them old timers back in the old days, I mean, a good horse, they didn't even hardly get them broke till they were 6 or 7.
Sure.
You know, and they were broncs until they were 10 or 11. You know, I mean, it's like, golly. And now we're the futurity, you know, they ride in there and put their hand down on this badass cutting horse that can hold a cow or 5 cows at one time. You know, I mean, it's crazy to me. And so everybody has progressed. The horse flesh has progressed.
Now, what's interesting to me, though, is there's certain aspects of genetics that are beneficial like that.
Right.
I mean, these horses are so smart and so athletic, so talented at such an early age. But then there's other areas where we have completely dropped the ball.
Right.
I mean, I talk about feet,
Mhm.
shoeing them. It's, I mean, like, I don't, even when I started 10 years ago, there's stuff just on average that I see now that 10 years ago just wasn't as much of an issue.
see it.
I mean, these things are they're just crippled. They got little feet. They grow no heel.
Right.
I mean, they're just bad, but nobody's put any emphasis on them
Right.
in terms of the genetics there.
Right.
So then some of these are so talented and so athletic, but yet you can't keep them sound.
Yeah.
We see it all the time with the barrel horses. I mean,
I'll
these
bet.
things are freaking, they've got little bones. They look like little toothpicks, you know, and their feet are terrible.
Right.
So it's like, in some ways we've helped with the genetics, but I mean, if the thing can't lope a circle because it's crippled all the time, like, what does it matter?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter.
So in some ways it's just humans always getting in the way of it.
Yeah. Just in the way, processing, pushing and mashing too fast, too far, too far,
Yeah.
too far.
I'm curious about, like, how much, were you selling a lot of horses before you had the Instagram stuff going on?
Yeah, I had a pretty good little program, you know. I mean, I my horse program was pretty good, and I was selling quite a few, you know. And I still don't sell that many because I want to keep them until they're solid and I know exactly what they are. Now I'll sell some 4 and 5 year olds, you know, but like those finished using horses.
You go out to Wickenburg and sell one for
Yeah, no, I haven't been out.
200-something K?
I wish. Yeah, that's my next goal. I need to go over and hang out with Trevor and figure out how to do that.
Totally.
So that's just like we were talking about. You know,
I mean, how much was it? Wasn't it like 250K?
I think it was
or
like
something?
250K. Yeah, like really cool,
Heck yeah.
really badass.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
then you see something like that, you're like, okay, now that's where I want to go now. That's where I want to be. I want to sell one of those a year. I want to have one of those horses every year. And it's just like that. I mean, hell, you just got to go figure out how to do it, you know? I mean, Trevor obviously has figured out the game. He knows how to do it, and he knows he's got the wherewithal, and he's who he is, and he's a badass horse. So it's like, man.
I don't know where you would really totally find the time to do all that. I mean, because you got how many pieces of property are you leasing? You got
3
4.
leases right now. Yeah.
You're running all sorts of cattle on all of them. And
Yeah, I
assume,
got a few cows scattered out, not very many.
I mean, so your daily schedule, if we're talking about the grind day to day, because it's cool that Buster Frierson has 35,000 Instagram followers, but at the same time, it's what people don't see is you probably get up at the butt crack of dawn.
About 4:30.
You work all freaking day.
Yeah, most of the time. And there's times, you know, I have, like yesterday and today, I've kind of done a few things around the house and just kind of been around the house. It's been raining and it's wet, and I got everything situated and kind of laid by on all my ranches, and I got leased, and cows are kind of fending for themselves right now. And it's not that I don't see them, you know, but it's just kind of one of those deals where I thought about it a couple of days ago, and I think like 6 weeks I hadn't had a day off. I mean, like I've done something every day for the last 6 weeks. And so July 4th rolled around, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take a couple of days off and kind of decompress and do some stuff around here, because I get to going so hard and going different places and doing things and running and gunning. And my saddle house has become a mess, you know. I mean, just like trash. There's stuff thrown in there, you know, just running and gunning. And so yesterday I resituated my saddle house. I took all my bridles and oiled them and got all the molds and junk off them, you know, and cleaned out some stalls and moved some stuff around, just trying to situate, you know, what I use every day and keep it where it's, I don't know, I'm not an OCD guy, but when I walk in my saddle house, I want to know where everything is. And I want to know when I walk in there, if I don't see that bridle, I'm like, where's that bridle at? You know, I mean, if it's not hanging where it's supposed to be, I'm like, so it's like cleaned out my trailers, cleaned out my pickups, just kind of got everything situated, worked on a pickup, you know, it's just trying to do that maintenance around that, back to the basics. And we're talking about back to the basics. You got to kind of keep everything rolling, you know, I mean, you look up and you're going, you know, like 4:35 every morning you're leaving and you're coming in at 9 o'clock every night and you eat supper and you lay down, you get up and do it again. That's 6 weeks in a row. It's like, whew, I need to slow down. You know, it's like,
how much better does that make it though when you do have a chance to just take a deep breath?
yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it is. It's good. You know, like yesterday and today, it's kind of been. I don't even really know. Like today, like I knew I was coming over here, so I jacked around there in the barn. I fed horses and I messed with one colt. You know, this morning, just kind of jacking around there, and somebody's like, "What are you doing today?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm trying to figure. I'm like, I need to be doing something. I need to be doing
Makes you
something.
uncomfortable
Yeah,
a
it
little
does.
bit.
It made me uncomfortable.
We did during the 4th at the beginning of May. Like we've had 20-something shows between May and now, and then I made it a point to take off the 4th, and then this next weekend coming up, and so we had some family over Saturday, and we had some more people over on Sunday, and we were just sitting there by the pool, and it was like I got up and went and like weeded the garden while they're like there, and I'm watering the yard, and just it's like, dude, stop.
Just chill out.
Stop,
no doubt.
bro.
No doubt. I mean, but you get in such a habit of just cracking.
But that is like the greatest thing for me because my early 20s were spent just being an idiot.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know if you had the same kind of thing with your dad, maybe not, but you know, my whole formative years, my dad's phrase was always get your head out of your ass.
Right.
I mean, because it was so far up there. and it's just being an idiot. Just go to work.
Yeah.
Quit making excuses.
Right.
Make something happen. And it wasn't even all that long ago that I was just working and doing my thing. And he tells me, well, he's like, man, you're just working a lot. You know, you need to just, you know, you just need to realize you got to just chill out sometimes. And I'm like,
what?
I'm like, how could you tell me that? you spent 20 years telling me to get my head out of my ass and make something happen. And now I am. And now you're telling me I'm working too hard? Gosh.
That's good. You know, I mean, it really is. That's good that he noticed it, you know, because he would be the one that wouldn't notice it.
Sure.
You could be working your ass off and, you know, being a dad, you'd be like, you need to work harder.
Right.
You ain't doing it.
That's true. That's
so
a
it is
nice
good.
Perspective.
That's a good say for you. You know, that's a good lick for you.
Because you're right. That probably would be more frustrating if he was like, "What are you doing?
Yeah,
you're not making anything happen."
Yeah,
and I'm like, I cannot work any harder.
Yeah, exactly. So that's good that he noticed it.
I guess so.
That's badass. There you go.
I don't know. I mean, you have a different perspective on it though, because you got a boy.
Yeah, I do. I have a boy who's 15. He just turned 15, so.
He needs to get his head out of his ass.
Yeah, he's got his head out of his ass. He's a pretty good boy, but yeah, he's 15. Like you said, we talked about
at 15. It was way up there.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit ago. But he's a pretty good boy. He does a lot of good stuff, but he's still 15. I mean, we were all 15, and so
heck yeah.
Is
he homeschooled?
No, he goes to a public school.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a. Had you ever thought about the homeschooling thing?
No, hell no. I ain't smart enough to homeschool him.
That's true. He could have a little tutor though. You know,
yeah,
a tutor.
Yeah, a tutor. No, he going to school.
Get
your ass on the bus and go to school.
Yeah.
Kind of like I don't know. I think it does them good. I think it makes them figure out how to deal with life and different people and different situations. And
I agree.
You know, I mean, homeschool's great. I'm not taking that away from anybody.
But if you were like rodeoing and doing all that kind of stuff,
no doubt. I mean, if the situation was different, maybe so. But I think it. You know, like I say, I ain't taking anything away from the homeschool people because I know there's situations and there's people that need to do it, but I think they need to get on a bus. You know, I mean, hell, I remember that's what made me who I was, you know. I mean, we got on a bus at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. We was the last ones off the bus, you know, and I got picked on and beat up on the school bus and just all that kind of stuff going on, you know. It's just one of them deals where it's like, it's life.
Do you think that bullying is always bad?
You know,
in the sense like sometimes like I was bullied at times.
Yeah. I mean,
And I also bullied
were.
other kids at times.
Yeah, I think we all
But
were.
a lot of
think we
times
all
I
have.
needed it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean,
I was being an idiot.
yeah. I mean, bullying, picking on someone that's smaller than you for a reason,
yeah.
that's a total different deal. But
Yeah.
I think like just
No, like picking on the handicapped kid.
Yeah, no
like,
doubt.
That's not.
no doubt,
That's
no,
not a thing.
not cool at all.
No.
Not cool at all. And I think
But if you're bumping your gums at football practice,
and you get swatted,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like
I mean,
that's life.
yeah, that's life. That is life.
Quit
you know?
running
I
your
mean,
mouth.
Exactly. It's learning how
Some
to
people
deal with people and other people.
Some people think that's bullying, though.
Yeah, see, and I don't agree. I'm with you on this deal. I think I mean, if you get your head smacked, and I said it the other day on one of my posts, I think everybody needs to have their ass whooped a couple of times.
Dude,
A good,
just a
I mean,
broke
like
nose.
a good ass whooping, like somebody black both your eyes, swell them shut. Like it makes you understand that sometimes it's better just to shut your mouth and walk off.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
The
it
hierarchy
really is.
of life. When was the first time? Have you got? See, you're so big and burly.
Dude, I got my ass whooped.
Really?
one night,
When was
yeah.
the first time?
Like bad? Like
Yeah.
in San Angelo one night in college. Yeah, like I had a guy hit me so hard, knocked me over some hedges because I was running my
In
mouth.
the nose, or to get you
no,
the
he hit
jaw?
me right in the eye.
Ooh,
Like right in the top of the nose, both eyes. Yeah, black both eyes.
you're
broke
talking
my
like in
nose.
the center.
Oh yeah,
Oh
like
gosh,
yeah, like bad.
did it break your bridge?
Oh yeah, like
Oh
yeah,
gosh,
like I heard for.
did he jump on you, or was it?
No, he thought it was over with, and
How'd you go back?
oh yeah,
Good for you.
Yeah,
So did y'all end up?
I
getting in-
left. He didn't. Yeah,
Oh, so you got back after him?
yeah, I mean
Oh,
but
see,
I mean, it was one of them, like, it was like two Charlotte bulls in a pen that never should be in the pen together, I mean, it was like, when it started, it was like, oh, okay, like, you should have finished it because I'm not done yet, my man. But,
Well,
yeah.
hey, isn't that like a classic? So you got it taken to you, but you didn't quit.
Yeah, no, yeah. He should have went ahead and finished it.
See, I was like looking for the story where you actually got your ass whipped, but then your first
Oh, I
ass
did.
your first ass whipping story, you still come back and whoop the dude's ass.
Oh, I got my ass
That's like a
whooped.
classic.
I don't think
My first one is like I got my ass whipped and I did not do anything. I just got my ass whipped.
like, I don't think anybody ever wins in one of them deals, I mean, especially like that. Yeah, maybe, but I don't know, like, my deal is you better knock me out or kill me because it's if I can get up, we're gonna go until I can't. I'm kind of one of them guys,
I think I think it changes your perspective quite a bit when somebody does crack you because it makes you think twice about bumping your guns at somebody. It's like this guy could hit me, but unless you've ever been really,
you don't know what it's. Yeah, you don't understand what it is or how bad it
you
hurts.
get that first, just when you get your nose popped and your eyes are watering.
Yeah.
Oh, that just has to happen one time.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to
And
get
it's
ass
like,
whooping.
I don't think I want to.
Yeah,
I've walked away from stuff too.
right.
I'm always down to, if somebody really wants to do it, it's like, it takes me a lot, but then we'll have to do it. But I've had the moments where the guy's like, hey, you don't want to do this.
Like,
And I'm like, I think you're right.
maybe you're right,
I don't think I want this.
but if
They
you
got
don't
that cauliflower ear. I'm like, nah, dude, I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah, yeah, no
I'll
doubt.
buy you a beer.
Yeah, yeah. I bet we can work this out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Might be different for you, but I can't.
It's always better. I'm the same way, man. I try to walk away from them. It's like because you know what it's going to end up. I mean, nobody wins. I mean,
Look, even if you win a fight, it
yeah,
hurts.
you don't win. Yeah,
You got broken knuckles.
yeah. Your hands are all beat up,
Oh,
and face is mashed, and
Yeah.
you feel like hell for a week and 2 weeks. I don't know, but it's not ever a good thing.
But there seems to be a pretty big difference with the way kids are raised now. Even I graduated high school about, 10 years ago or something. So even the way it's changed since then,
Right.
the way coaches treat kids,
Right.
the way parents treat kids, it's like, it seems so different.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I mean, the whole, like, everybody gets a trophy, everybody's a winner.
Right.
No, there's losers.
No, for sure.
There's losers.
For
so
sure.
you either need to quit and do something else or get better.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. You better be able to figure out how to handle disappointment because sooner or later you're going to be disappointed, very disappointed. because
Almost every day.
You're not going to win.
Like, what happens when those kids have their first job and they get fired?
Yeah.
What the heck are they going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like we talked about this the other day, me and another gal. We talked about kids, never being disappointed in their parents, always taking care of them and tending to them, and never taking, I don't know how long ago it was or where it was or what, but a kid's first girlfriend broke up with him and he shot himself because of it. And, it's like he was so distraught, disappointed that she broke up with him. He had never, he was an only child, and it's horrible for everybody involved, no doubt about it. And not blaming anybody here, but his parents could have, he never was disappointed his whole life, they took care of him, they babied him. He never had anything go wrong his entire life. And as soon as the first thing went wrong,
he kills himself.
Yeah, he shot himself, Now, there might have been other issues involved in there, but it seems to me like, it's like, dang, over a high school girlfriend? I mean, you're 16 years old, 17 years old. And, he thought it was the end of the world because he had never been disappointed before. He had never been told no. He'd never been told, hey, life sucks. It's mean. And you're going to be lost of disappointments.
What was your first big disappointment thing where you failed or were very disappointed, but then you realized your only option was to just dust yourself off and just keep going forward? What was your first big failure?
Man, why are you going to ask that? So a lot of people know, but I don't know if you know, but a lot of people know because of other podcasts I've done and just talking, but I used to drink pretty heavily.
Okay.
And I was pretty bad about it, or I was real good at it. One of the two, I don't know. I sucked at it or was real good.
It looks like you won.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess the first really, that really in my adult life, I lost some games and we, football and basketball and that kind of stuff. But I guess the one that really stands out to me was I drank quite a bit, and I'm not afraid to say it. I was an alcoholic. I wasn't an everyday drunk, but when I drank, I'm kind of like I'll fight, and when we start, we're going to go all the way to the end, whether we run out or whether somebody, you pass out. That's kind of my mentality about most anything.
There was no casual.
No, there wasn't no, hey, let's go.
A couple beers at the end of the night?
No. Like me and you go drink a beer, we'd be drinking beer at 2:00 this morning if you're still tough enough to hang on.
Right. Okay.
We're still doing it.
Right.
And so I'd gotten a few driving awards or one driving award, I guess. Gotcha. And then I got another driving award. And by that, I got a DWI.
I got you.
And I don't know. I was in jail one night. And I'm in my mid-20s, probably 26, 27, 28 years old about that time.
Did you have your boy yet?
No,
Okay.
I wasn't married. I was still single, just kind of running wild, and thought I was pretty smart, thought I was pretty cool. And I was laying in jail one night and looked up and was like, wow, what the hell am I doing here? And knew I was going to have to be there for a little bit and to serve some of my time out. And I was like, man, I was raised better than this, and I guess to answer your question, that was my first major, big disappointment. I was disappointed in myself, disappointed in the path I'd chose, I guess, disappointed in the decisions I'd made. And I was laying there that night and really no excuses, got real deep down, dark in the core, dug it all out. And I didn't have anybody to blame but myself, I'd blamed everybody, the cop or the pickup or this or that or girlfriend or whatever, and that's any other time I'd gotten in any kind of issues about my drinking, I always blamed something else. It was always somebody else's fault, something else's fault. And really got deep down into it and was like, you know what? It ain't nobody's damn fault but myself. I'm the one that put myself here. I'm the one that chose to do it. I'm the one that picked to do it. I'm the only reason that I'm here. My family raised me better than that. I'm better than that. I know better than that, and had a real deep conversation with myself and decided right then and there that I would never, ever be back in that situation, and got out.
Did you just cold turkey quit?
Yeah,
right
just
there?
done. That's been 19 years ago.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Never a drop.
Nope. So I just quit. And that's like I said, that's one thing. If I'm going to go all the way. And so when I decided to quit, I quit. And it was hard. It's probably the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life. I'd I'd probably started drinking when I was 16, you know, having a beer here and there, sneaking some beers, you know.
I mean, culturally, it's a pretty relaxed.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have a beer.
Yeah, you know, and so I'd done it for 10 or 12, 15 years already, you know, as a 26, 27, 28-year-old. And it was part of my life, you know. I'd get off work and I'd go have a beer.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I might not
Or
go-
20.
Or 20, yeah.
20.
Yeah, no joke.
A lot of hyper successful people, hyper productive people, they have that issue.
Yeah, I mean, that was me. Like I was, it's still to this day, you know, I've been sober 19 years and people say, I bet you can drink one beer. I'm like, nope, I ain't even trying it. And whether I know I can or whether I know I can't, I don't know, but I'm not going to chance it because,
why would you?
I mean, like my success that I've had and who I am today is because of that decision I made that night laying on that jail cell bunk. I mean, there ain't no doubt about it whatsoever. I'd have killed somebody or I'd have killed myself. And I'd disappointed a lot of people.
So were there a lot of mistakes that were made apart, like because you were drinking so much, you were just making...
Yeah, no
so
doubt.
it just kind of came with everything.
Yeah, everything, you know, from the way I acted amongst people, the way my job history at that time, you know, my girlfriend history or my relationship history, whether it was with my family or a girl or, you know, work, whatever. There was a lot of dumb decisions made because of my drinking, you know. I mean, hell, one thing I think about back now is I was working for a power company as a lineman in Fort Worth, and I was making a lot of money. Like I was single, had an apartment, making a lot of money, most money I'd ever made, you know. Had a great job, insurance, retirement, you know, making, I don't know, 60, 70,000 a year as a single man that was 25, 26 years old.
Yeah, you're crushing it.
Yeah, got my truck repoed because I didn't pay my freaking truck payment. Just burning it, you know, just burning that money.
Oh, you were just spending it.
Yeah, just burning it.
Dang.
Drinking and partying and running and gunning, you know. I woke up.
How far into the partying hole did you get? Like when you say partying, what are we talking? Just go to the bar, drink?
Yeah, just go to the bar, drink, hang out, you know, I mean, like certain spots, you know, we'd go to the river and hang out for a week and drink beer and float the river or drink beer and, you know, hang out down around Tin Top where we skied and, you know, just that kind of stuff.
Do you think that there's more people that are alcoholics than actually realize they are?
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. You know, and I wasn't one of those guys that I had to get up and have a drink to function.
But when you were going to do it,
like,
yeah, you were a binge drinker.
Yeah, very bad.
You'd turn it up.
Like we'd go buy a 30-pack and we're going to drink the 30-pack. I mean,
oh, totally.
Yeah. And then we're going to go, if it's time allowance, if we're still rolling, we're going to go get us another case of beer and maybe a bottle of whiskey because now we're good and drunk.
That's right.
And yeah, now we're going to really, really have a good time.
Yeah,
so,
man.
you know, I mean, that was kind of my lifestyle then. I worked hard. I played hard. And, you know, like I say, I was making a lot of money. And I look up on Sunday morning, there's a truck out there hooking up to my pickup. I'm like, what the hell?
So how'd you get out of that deal?
I went and had to go get it back. You know, I ended up having to pay. I had to freaking borrow some money and go get it, make my payments and get it back. And it was just like, you know, one thing after another. And I look back on that now and I'm like, damn, dude, you were so stupid.
Just needed a kick in the pants.
Yeah.
Sorta.
And then, you know, but at that time I'm pretty smart. I thought I was pretty smart, you know. I mean, like I got a good job. I'm making a lot of money. I'm single. I got my own deal, you know, and it's like just trying to find something that satisfied me. And I couldn't find it, no matter how much money I made.
That's interesting.
Or how much partying I did or drinking, you know. I was trying to find something to satisfy my insides and I couldn't do it. And that's what it's funny. Like I walked in after about 5.5 years of working for the line company as a lineman, making a lot of money and turned my tools in and said, I'm done. I quit. And they're like, what? You can't quit. I'm like, yeah, I can. I just quit. I went back to cowboying. Like I rented a little old place outside of Weatherford and had a round pen. I built me a little old saddle house and making nothing. I mean, like went from making 60, 70 grand a year to
30, 20.
Maybe 20, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Day trashing, starting colds, trying to figure out, you know, doing whatever I could to make a living. And then that gradually got a little better and a little better. And, you know, I mean, I'm one of those guys where I don't need a whole lot of money. I just need to be happy and be able to go do what I want to do. And,
well, so is that the whole, you saying you were trying to fill a hole and you didn't know what needed to be there. was that the hole that you were needing to fill, or was there something else? Or
No,
like,
I
what
think
is that hole?
I think that was the hole. Like I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy doing what I was doing because I don't think I was made to do that.
Okay.
And I think I was made to do what I do now.
Okay.
And, you know, there was just something about the cowboy life. And I know it sounds kind of weird that, you know, or faux pas, whatever everybody wants to say about it, but there's something about the cowboy life that gives you so much freedom that you're your own person. You either sink or you swim yourself. I mean, it's like, here we go. Let's jump in and see what happens. And that's kind of who I am, what I am. I mean, if I want to try to do something, I try to figure out how to do it the best of my ability, and I'll get some help here and there. And I don't know, it was just something it just felt like that's what I needed to do, you know, and I took the chance and that's what I did. So
people ask, it happened the other day. I was playing poker and a guy goes, "You a cowboy?" And, how do you answer that? Is that a weird question?
Yeah, it is. You know, I've been asking enough now that I kind of, I'm a cowboy. I mean, there ain't no doubt about it. And they said, "What does a cowboy mean to you?" You know, of course.
Oh, they'll actually ask that.
Oh, that's the next. You know, a lot of people ask,
Okay.
"What does a cowboy mean to you?" And my answer is, it's a lot of freedom, no doubt about it. It's a freedom to choose where you are, what you do, when you do it. But it also means to me that there's a certain character, there's a certain integrity, there's certain values that you hold real, real tight, and you won't give them up no matter what. And a lot of people nowadays will sell those out pretty quick for something else. And I think a true cowboy holds on to them no matter what. And they're not for sale. You know, I mean, that part of me is not for sale. You're not going to get me to change my mind about one of those characters' integrity or values. I mean, that's who I am. You live with it, die with it. You can take it or leave it. I don't really give a damn, you know. I mean, you can like me for who I am or you can hate me for who I am, but I'm not going to change because you think I need to change.
That's interesting that you take a little bit more of a poetic, romantic approach to what a cowboy is.
Yeah.
Because like me, when somebody asks you, that guy going, when he says, "Are you a cowboy?" I go, "Well, I mean, I don't like day work.
Right.
Like I don't cowboy for a living."
Right.
You know, because pretty early on, I sort of, I don't know if I totally got rid of the romantic idea of being a cowboy. I think I was around so many people that were technically cowboys, but they sort of hijacked the romantic side of it.
Right.
And they rode on the back of integrity, trustworthiness, having good character, being honest. And they used a lot of those things to get over on people because they wore a cowboy hat and they were a cowboy. They could use a lot of those things to take advantage of people.
Right.
And so now I don't know, like if I've just lost a little bit of hope in that. And, but now anymore, it's like if somebody asks, "Are you a cowboy?" It's like, do you cowboy for a living?
Right. Right.
And that's where I get kind of hung up on it on times, because I can totally get down with the idea of having integrity and being honest and being who you are and meaning what you say and saying what you mean and all the, because if that's the criteria, there's a lot of freaking cowboys that don't wear cowboy hats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
my
no
dad's
doubt.
one of them.
No
That dude is the most cowboy guy ever, but he's a doctor.
Yeah.
Never worn a cowboy hat in his life.
Right.
But there's a lot of guys that I know that are cowboys that my dad's more cowboy than they are.
Yeah.
In those terms.
In those terms,
Yes.
yeah. No
Yes.
doubt about it. And I guess I should preface that with, you know, I mean, yeah, you got to be able to, you better be able to go punch some cows, you know, and do your own side of it, you know. I mean, it's kind of one of those deals where, yeah, everybody does things different. Everybody's got different skill levels involved, no doubt about it. Like I say, there's way, way, way better cowboys out there that I'm friends with that are way better cowboys than me. But I am still a cowboy, you know. I mean, I get up in the morning, I tend to my horses, I take care of cattle for a living. You know, I understand how to move cattle, I understand how to ride horses, I understand how to read a cow, you know. I mean, that kind of stuff kind of goes along with it. When you say cowboy to me, that's probably
You're taking it to a deeper level.
Yeah, that's probably the first and foremost thing. Yeah. I mean, are you a cowboy? Yes, I'm a cowboy. I perform cowboy duties for a living. That's what I do. Yes, but I also feel like there's a certain degree of being a cowboy too, like you say.
I agree.
That more romantic side.
I wish there was more of that.
Yeah, I do too. You know, I mean, it is one of those deals, and it's funny that you say that. You know, just because you put on a cowboy hat don't necessarily mean you're a cowboy. There ain't no doubt about that. You know, I know a lot of.
And there's just different levels of it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
It's like compared to what? Compared to what? I'm a cowboy compared to what?
Right.
I don't know. There's some people that could go to work with me and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this dude is free." But then, like,
Yeah.
I'd go to work with you and you'd be like, "What are you doing, bro? Like, what's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
I can
And me-
swing a rope a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know,
but-
it's the same way with me. Like if I go to Arizona, you know, and I run with some of those guys out there in Arizona, I'm just like, "Phew, I'm gonna be real quiet. I'm gonna be real small over here because these guys are doing shit I have no idea about." You know,
That's interesting.
so it's like it's cool to go and see, and I have the availability now that I can, you know, every once in a while, and I do like going and trying to put my skills not necessarily in competition with those other guys, but just kind of seeing where I rate, you know, in my mind. And
Sure.
like, can I cowboy with these guys? Can I do what they do in their world? You know, I mean, like there's different cowboy skills everywhere. You know, you go up north and the guys cowboy different because of the terrain, because of the weather, because of what they have to deal with. You know, you go down to South Texas where it's brushy. There's different cowboys. Like everybody has a different skill set because of where they grew up at or where they actually work at. And so it's fun for me to go. Can I go cowboy in Arizona? Can I go cowboy in New Mexico? Can I go to Montana? And, you know, and those guys respect me for my skills no matter what those, you know, no matter where you're at. That I think that's cool. That's one thing that, you know, I think that's way back in the old days. That's the way them old guys did. You know, they're always talking about drifting around to different places and seeing what's over the next hill. Well, I think I still have that kind of vibe in me. You know, I want to go see how they do it over there, you know, and can I compare with those guys or will they respect me, you know? And so it's like, it's cool to figure out whether you can or whether you can't, you know? And so it's, a lot of guys tell me if you can cowboy in Texas and Arizona, you can go cowboy anywhere. Well, that might in Florida, they might say if you can cowboy in Florida and Mississippi,
South Florida,
yeah, you can go cowboy anywhere. I don't know. I've never been there. You know, I mean, I bet it's totally different. You know, I want to go to Brazil and cowboy with those guys. You know, I want to go hang out and see how they do it. You know, I mean, I want to go see what's over the next hill. I think that's cool.
Well, and we were talking at lunch about how when you go to another place and they might have a certain way of doing it, you don't interject all the time. It's about having a little bit of respect for their place, what they have going on. Doesn't necessarily mean it's right or wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you been places though where you don't agree with the way that they're doing it, and it gets to a point where you're like, hey,
yeah, like it's dangerous for the animals and the people involved. Yeah, you're like, hey,
and you do have to step in.
Yeah, you know, I mean, but you do it very respectfully. You try to do it very respectfully, or you load your we say you roll your bed and go somewhere else, you know. But and a lot of people, if they have any kind of sense at all or a little bit of sense, you know, they see the situation as well, you know. And like, there's been some times where he's like, hey, man, I think there's a better way to do it. What do you think about maybe we do it this way, you know, instead of trying to, you know, so you try to do it.
Man, but that's just managing people.
Yeah.
Managing emotions.
Yeah, it is, you know, and it's one of those deals. A lot of people don't. A lot of people get offended by it, you know, like just like we were talking about earlier. And it's my ranch, my cows, I do it the way I want to do it. And if you don't like it, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Well, then you either gotta be there and from here down, you know, from your shoulders down and do the labor or roll your bed and go somewhere else. I mean, it's kind of one of them deals where it's like, okay, thank you.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But
well, so like managing people like that, is that something that you've actually had to consciously think about doing? Like managing emotions like that? And being able to,
like there's times, you know, I still lose my emotion.
Yeah,
I'll get pissed off and yell and scream, throw my sucker down. But, you know, the older I get, the easier it is because you have seen those situations, you know, you've been in that situation of more than just once or twice, and you try to figure out the best way to manage somebody. And I'm pretty good. I want to think I'm pretty good at reading people, reading animals, you know, and so it's like, reading people is a lot like reading animals, you know. If I go to step up on a bronc and he's moving around, he's doing certain things with his feet, he's doing certain things with his ears, he's doing certain things, you know, you're kind of like leery. Okay, well, I've been here before. I know what could happen if I go ahead and approach it in this situation, this manner. He can jump, kick you in the belly, you know, or okay, I'm going to do this a little different. You know, it's the same way with you getting around shoeing a horse. I mean, you can tell when them horses are fixing to get shitty, and you adapt the way your style around that to maybe avoid that. situation.
Belly kick them.
Yeah, or belly kick them. Yeah. Most of the time when I belly kick them, they kick me back or hurt me. I hurt my toe or something. Be like,
You got to point those toes, Buster.
Yeah, you got to down. Kick them with the top of your foot. Yeah.
It's an art. A good belly kick is an art form.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt for sure. But yeah, I mean, people are the same way. I mean, there's some people
Most people need a good belly kick.
Yeah, that ain't no joke. So there's a lot of people need a good belly kick.
A good belly kick.
What a lot
you
of
don't know
people,
what gender you are?
Yeah,
you need a belly kick.
You'll figure it out. Yeah, you figure out real quick.
Like you didn't let your boy pick what gender he was going to be.
No, I mean he got what he got.
Yeah,
God gave him his gender.
That's right, man.
Yeah, God gave him his
Isn't it crazy
gender.
that's controversial?
No, it is.
I mean, come on.
It's not crazy. It's just plumb stupid.
Yeah, that's the most insane thing I've ever heard of.
I mean, crazy is like what Evil Knievel does, like jump over 42 trucks.
Right.
I mean, stupid is just like
taking things that are just not an issue and then creating an issue.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I seen a deal the other day said if you don't think gender is, I don't even remember how it was said, but it was something about go milk a bull or get eggs from a rooster, and you tell me if gender doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, like, come on.
Well, what's interesting to me too is like the I don't know, stuff just doesn't seem to add up with the things that they emphasize. So like, feminism is all about the woman and trying to what's the word I'm looking for? Emphasize the good qualities of femininity, right?
Right.
And it's like, but even that statement is in conflict with there's like 47 genders.
Yeah, no.
It's like, well, who are you to say that that's a woman?
Yeah.
What if it identifies as a man? It's like, what's the point of being a feminist if there is no genders?
Exactly.
It's like, it doesn't make none of their stuff like adds up.
It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah.
Now that we talked about that.
Yeah, let's go back to like belly kicking horses and stuff, man. You got me like really. I have no idea what the hell we're talking about now. Just
yes, you do.
Yeah, Jarrod.
Yes,
Jarrod
you
just
do.
went off on a tangent there, people. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't even know what a feminism is.
A feminism. I don't either, man. There's a lot of things in this world that don't make any sense to me.
Right.
It's increasingly every day. It's getting worse and worse.
No doubt.
Your life kind of doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Mine?
Like, I just don't understand how you can run all these different operations and do all this different stuff. Like, I just don't understand how you manage all of it.
I don't. I just kind of go put the fire out over here, and then put the fire out over here.
I mean, how many businesses are you involved in now? See, you don't even know. Like, how many is it? That's outrageous.
3, I guess. Yeah.
I
got my cow operation, and then I've got Bison Union, and then I've got I sell some product for ProVantage Animal Health, which I mean, not just kind of a salesman,
right?
Not really a salesman, like a rep for them. I do some stuff with Chaffee, Pivotal Feeds. I've got a meat company that me and another guy started, so that's kind of up on the forefront right now. We're trying to kick through that and get it really rocking and rolling.
What's that called?
Range Hand Meat Co.
See, well, you just threw another one in there, so that's 4.
Yeah.
Well, are you classifying that with your cattle?
No,
operation?
I mean it's a whole different entity. Yeah.
Okay, so there's 4.
Yeah.
How many other ones are like weaved in here? Because you got 4 businesses now.
Yeah, that's it. Really, I mean, my businesses. I do some stuff with Schaefer Outfitters, and I do a lot of stuff with American Hats, and just kind of throwing all my sponsors out there. Did you get that? I'm glad you pulled that up.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
I was just bringing it up just by chance.
Yeah, good job, man. They're gonna
They
really
there.
thank you.
Well, American is just right up there in Bowie. It's just north of us.
Yeah, no doubt. Great company. Great people. Great product. I mean, you can't.
I heard that they can use a lacquer so like some of your Resistols. Who else is made in Dallas? Is it just Resistol?
I don't know.
But apparently
I don't do anything but with American.
Some of these hat companies that are made more in like the Metroplex, they can't use there's apparently like a lacquer that they can use in American because it's just out there in the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah. I mean,
it's a chemical. That's why they can hold their shape a little bit better.
Yeah.
I got an American hat.
Heck yeah, you do. I saw that right off.
Mine was more expensive than yours, though, I would imagine.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's why I had you on here, so I could get free hats.
Is it?
That's the only reason.
You got to wear one like this, though.
I can't handle that. I'm not as big as you. That hat would look like a sombrero on me.
You started a new style.
Somebody already did it.
Yeah.
Man, so Honestly, like it really is quite curious to me how you manage multiple businesses like this. Like I just don't know how you understand how you manage your time the way that you do, and you got a kid.
Yeah, I go a lot. Like I mean, there's not a whole lot of downtime. Like I'm always, thank God for these phones. I mean, really, the phones are evil, and you see me reaching over here, like it's been ringing. Like I've been trying to turn it off.
Oh, I thought you were poking at something else.
No,
making me
that's
nervous.
my phone.
It's like Buster. My goodness.
No. But thank God for these phones, I mean, because you can do, like I do everything. I don't have a laptop. I don't have a desk. I keep a little notebook that I jot stuff down in, and I go off my phone most of the time, and I check all my emails, I run pretty much everything off my phone. And
but you don't got anybody that really helps you with
No.
any scheduling or nothing like that.
No, I do everything. Like I say, I mean, I try to keep it as close to, a few days out as I can. Like you reaching out to me a couple of weeks ago, I was like, oh shit, I probably won't remember this. But
Yeah.
I did. I actually went ahead and made an alarm, in my
There
phone
you
and
go.
like an appointment deal and all that. And I'm like, okay, looky there. I'm getting smarter and smarter.
I
by
got
the
those
day.
calendars, man.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
two. I got the band calendar and then I got the
Oh
personal
yeah,
calendar.
for sure.
'Cause it feels like the only way that you could actually.
And I still do a lot of stuff like in a cowboy notebook, I mean, like
Yeah.
I carry a notebook and ever pick up. So I'm like, I write my count numbers down and like, okay, we've vaccinated such and such, such and such. So I can always go back and figure that stuff out, and like most of the stuff that I do with Bison Union and all the.
What actually is Bison Union?
So Bison Union is the company that Bert Koontz and I started, the spec ops guy that came to work for me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we started it as kind of an Americana, salt of the earth. We started with a couple of T-shirts, and those they sold real well with our logo on them. We actually have a coffee shop in Sheridan, Wyoming now that's open, a full-fledged coffee shop. We got coffee, like 6 different roasted coffee. It's just kind of morphed into almost like an old-timey general store.
Yeah.
I would say, and just kind of make it real basic. But we sell everything online. Plus, you can go to Sheridan to the shop up there, and you can buy stuff in the shop, in the coffee shop. We actually started another one in Bernie, Texas the other day. I say the other day, been 4 months ago it was open. But it's a military. Bert, of course, was military, and me being a rancher, agricultural guy, it kind of combines the military and the rancher cowboy together. And I don't know, it's been very successful. We got a really good fan crowd. They support us very well. We got a cool logo. It's an American flag with a buffalo. Got crossed arrows, insignia for the special forces.
Yeah,
and
man.
then, I mean, it's just something that we thought, we'd make T-shirts were kind of cool, and it's like, let's make a cool T-shirt with a cool logo on it. And it's just kind of turned into, like, we have T-shirts, hoodies, ball caps, coffee now. We got mugs, we got knives, we got boots, with our logos on them, Bert's a great guy. He's very, very smart, very sharp on kind of marketing stuff. He had a big following on IG and Facebook, and that's kind of where we started, was on that, and it's just kind of turned into what it is.
What's the meat company going to be called?
Range Hand.
Okay, Range
Hand Meat Co. Yeah. So, and it's a door to door, like you order online and we deliver it to your door. We do some stuff with retail and some restaurants, over.
Is there any sort of like specific type of meat that is, or is it all
it's a 100% all natural, grass fed, grain finished.
Oh, no kidding.
No hormones, no antibiotic.
Interesting.
Top of the line, premium kind of type cuts. We got some sausages that we've come up with some good recipes, and got some sausage that we make. We got some jerky kind of in the works right now. So hopefully pretty soon we'll have like bags of jerky out.
Yeah.
We got some other stuff in the works. It's going to be pretty cool if we can get it done. So the meat company is very, very in the infant stages. We're just trying to get it rocking and rolling. And like we talked about at lunch, there's some issues that we got to work around and figure out how to get to the consumer through a different process, and so it's a learning process, no doubt about it. I mean, I learn every day that I'm not near as smart as I need to be. So,
well, I think you need to quit being so lazy, and you need to open your own meat packing plant, your own processing plant too.
Well,
just like maybe on weekends, you could just
butcher, learn how to butcher cattle too. Yeah.
Quit being so lazy.
Yeah.
Hey, and then so I'm playing up in Wyoming, so I need to go up there to your.
Yeah. Go in the store. We're right across from King Ropes. Like if you know where King Ropes is in downtown
Heck
Sheridan,
yeah, man.
you walk out King Ropes door and you walk straight across the street and you'll walk into our door.
Okay.
Right. I know you know where the mint bar is.
Yeah. I see. I've never been up in
never
that
been up
area
there?
though. No.
Oh well, if you go to the mint bar, you'll have to go to Mint Bar, Bison Union, and King Ropes. You need to go to all three of those. It's a really cool spot.
Go up there, drop some names.
Yeah, heck yeah.
It'll be perfect.
Heck yeah, for sure. You just walk in there and tell them Buster told me, and they'd be like, "We don't care because he don't matter up here."
Ah, I can't even get a free beer.
I bet you get a free beer. Yeah.
That's all I'm there
Yeah, I
for.
bet you get a free beer.
That's all I'm there
Maybe.
for. We need to get some shirts and stuff though for the
Yeah, for sure.
Buffalo Union
For sure. Bison.
or Bison Union.
Yeah. Buffalo.
What's the difference between a buffalo and a
I was
bison?
fixing to tell you. Bison are in North America. Buffalo are in Asia.
Buffalo are in Asia.
Yeah, how about that? Isn't that
Really?
weird?
I see. I was listening to a thing about the Comanches the other day,
Yeah.
and I guess it was all Native Americans in general. They all came over through. I can't remember what it was called, but it was some big land or ice
The land
mass.
bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, between Russia and here,
Uh-huh.
and they all came over here.
Right.
And I guess that's how the buffalo would have came over here.
Right.
But it's still the same thing, essentially.
Well, yeah,
right?
and I don't know. You read up on it. I mean, that's the scientific names, I guess, is a bison, and then the buffalo is the Asian animal, and the bison is actually
it's
the
the
North American.
wagyu of bison.
Yeah, I guess.
Does it taste any different?
I don't know. I never eat a water buffalo.
No, you're talking water buffalo.
It's still a buffalo.
I know.
So see, that's kind of where they get that.
Okay, smaller frame,
Mm-hmm.
I would think.
Different. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I should probably. Bert, my partner, is like all up on that. Like he
Really?
can tell you all that stuff. I try not to fuzz my head up. I got enough stuff in there. I don't need that. I can read it. I can Google that shit.
Oh, I can't read it.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm from that next generation of video
what?
people. I just listen to it.
Uh-huh.
I can't read though.
Well, yeah.
I also can't do math very well. But I'm going to go to your place in Sheridan.
Go.
Thanks for coming up here and thanks for hanging out, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
We're
for
gonna do it
the invite.
again,
I
I
appreciate
hope.
it. It's fun.
And I'm gonna go to work with you sometime
Come
too,
on.
hopefully.
Anytime. Yeah, just right down the road.
But I'm like a real cowboy.
I know. I'll bring your guitar and I'll start you a fire.
Sure,
and
that's
you can
all. I'll just
around-
sit over there and
You
play.
can sit around and pick the guitar.
Just
around
sit
the
over there
fire.
being artiste. All right, dude. Thanks for coming.
Oh,
man.
thank you, brother. I
See y'all.
appreciate it.